Good morning. What we're looking at here is what I call the all-nighter telescope. It's an all-nighter because it basically will never do up. It is a ubiquitous 6-inch f8 Newtonian. The f8, as they say, is an easier optic to make because of the longer focal length. The primary mirror is a little bit more than just a sphere, as I recall, and these can be modified. If you want to have a smaller secondary, you can go to a company called Protostar, and they will outfit you with a smaller secondary. I think this one has a 1.33 inch secondary mirror. The secondary mirror is right here. Now you note that's probably a 1.3 inch. Let me see if I can get it in. Yep, let me move the camera a bit. There you go. You can see it. It has the, you can see the secondary. The secondary is held by four vanes, as they call it. And it supports it, and it's suspended. I haven't taken the cell out yet. The cell being back here, I haven't taken that. I haven't removed it yet. And I'm going to take a cat's eye reflective triangle and replace the the donut. But right now I used the cat's eye collimator piece. This is reflective, okay, and basically what happens is there's a triangle that's seated in the center of the mirror, and the triangle will line up with the outer rim or the inner rim of the reflective material. This allows for nighttime collimation check. All that's needed is to shine a flashlight down the tube, and you can check your collimation, make sure it's lined up, and then you're good to go for the rest of the night. So in the old days, at a different time, the 6-inch f8 was a very standard telescope. It's lightweight. It is a wonderful lunar and planetary scope. And for the most part, you can keep it out all night. No electrics are needed to prevent dew in the shield. In the secondary, which is covered and it's small, or in the primary mirror. A great telescope. Highly recommend them. They come inexpensive. Let me bring this up. This has a what's going on here? It's not balanced. So I'm going to have to balance it. Okay. Oh, I know. You counterweight slid. So I will move this down about here, and it's balanced pretty much. Good to go for the night. Yeah, you can use simple eyepieces. Okay, my wonderful Criterion achromatic ransom, I think the achromatic ransom eyepieces are wonderful in this telescope. There's a particular eyepiece that's one of my favorites that was made through Criterion and produced through Criterion, I guess. Well, actually, it's probably made in Japan, but it's a 12.7 millimeter Criterion eyepiece, and that'll produce nearly 100 power in this telescope. But yeah, it's a great telescope. Ordinarily, I would like to have my hands on my Criterion again, but I lent it to a friend down south, and I don't know if it's ever coming back, to be honest with you. I can't remember what the transaction was, but the Criterion had a lighter mount and a wonderful little mount if you know how to use it. You gotta play with it and to get it to track properly. But yeah, it was a great mount. You could easily pick up the tube and the mount and put it out here. I guess most modern astronomers wouldn't look at it as a most desirable piece, but the Criterion is a pretty good telescope. And this is as close as I can get to a Criterion right now. So it'll be coming out. I might put it on the moon. The moon's at probably about 2 or 3% illumination right now. So it's coming through its new phase. It's going to be hard for me to put any detail on it. Again, great eyepiece. Great little telescope. Works wonderfully. If you want 2-inch eyepieces, this device is removed, and there's an adapter that goes in there, a 2-inch adapter. So you do whatever you want. Again, it's a rudimentary rack and pinion device, but it doesn't bother me. Once I get it in focus, it's easy. You know, there's a lot of play. Because it's not such a fast telescope, it's easier to focus than, say, a f5, which has a short focal range. You got to get it in just precisely with maybe a micro focuser, so it's said, but I've never had any problem with rack and pinions focusers. But it is nice, I guess, if you're doing camera work and that kind of thing, but I'm just a visual observer. So yeah, this would probably go on my university optics mount, which I will show you people. Even though it says Bushnell on there, it's made by the scope. It's just branded Bushnell. It's the same scope as the variety of different. I think I don't know if it's a Cinta or whatever that comes out of China, but not too worried about it because it's not hard to make a f8 mirror. As I said, got a finder for it. It's sealed. It's easy to bring in. It's easy to set up. But you know, it's a Newtonian, and if you need an all-nighter telescope, You can't go wrong with this. I just noticed there are available 6-inch f6 telescopes that could be had pretty cheaply. And they too come from, well, that one comes from Taiwan. But these are great scopes. Don't overlook a Newtonian. If you have a small budget and you can spend a lifetime observing through a 6-inch Newtonian. You just got to learn how to use it. You got to learn how to make it comfortable for you. One thing I will note is the tube is black, okay? So it's easy to observe with both eyes open. I observed with my left eye. My right eye would remain open, and essentially my left eye is here, my right eye is looking into the black, and that's it. If this is an obstruction, if this bothers me, I'll cover it with the black tape. This originally came in a Dobsonian format, which I don't really care for the Dobsonians, you know. So I guess I'll take some Gorilla Tape and cover those holes at one time, but it's got a good light trap, meaning the rear, there's no extraneous light that could come through the back of the tube. It sits up high enough so it's comfortable, and you know, I like it. So if you're in the market and you think, I can't afford a $1,000 telescope, which is, you know, I really don't recommend you buying a $1,000 telescope when you can get one of these. It is easy. It's easy to carry around. It's close to a grab and go. So yeah, I highly recommend them. You know, come with a little cap here. It fits snugly, not loose. Bingo. Okay, I store it in the house. It's basically free of bugs or dust or any of that other stuff. You know, there's a thing called canoeists and canoers. Some people define themselves as canoeists, which is more of an elite term, whereas others say, I'm just a canoer. And the canoer usually has a beat up canoe. Maybe it's made out of aluminum, and he really doesn't care about the looks of it. It does the same job, works just as fine, but he hasn't spent 3-4 times the amount of money to get where he needs to go. So if you're interested in an all-nighter telescope, you don't need to worry about, you want to do some planetary, lunar, and deep sky, this is the way to go.